Welcome to the Carb Loaders. I'm Jay.
I'm Sam.
I'm, I'm not.
Jesus.
And we've got a great episode for you coming up. We discuss Anzac Day, the Jamie Elliott mark, greatest marks of all time, bit of NBA talk as we discuss the weirdest injury I've ever seen happen on a court of any sport ever. Then to end it all off, we try a bit of Raisin Toast with Marmite and almost throw up. Going to be a good time.
Stay tuned.
All right.
The Palmer.
Welcome back to the Carb Loaders. We are here. It has been an interesting week of sport. There's been a lot going on this week. We've had the Anzac Day round has gone just recently in footy and I guess rugby as well. Rugby has an Anzac Day game now.
Yeah, well, they changed it up this year. It's usually Melbourne Storm and the Warriors, but Warriors played in New Zealand and Melbourne got the Rabbitohs instead.
Really? Were the Warriors playing on Anzac Day?
Yes, they're playing in New Zealand, so it's a few hours ahead of us. So
okay, so they played the day before Anzac Day.
Yeah, and then the Wires are lost. So
I don't know how time works.
We don't talk about that.
Time is a social construct.
It's like all those dumb Americans when like 9/11 happened or something.
What?
They're a day ahead. They're like, why didn't the Australians tell us? Have you not seen that?
No. I mean, you say in America, so it actually sort of sounds something they would believe in.
Exactly.
Last week we've
just lost another country.
So-
we got rid of a lot of countries last week. We got rid of Adelaide.
We alienated Adelaide, Perth.
I think we got rid of the Americans last week. Any of them that survived, we just got rid of like 14 seconds into our podcast.
We're just into your hand at that point.
But it was Anzac Day weekend.
Yes.
Straight back.
Talking to Anzac Day. No.
Anzac Day weekend. It was we're Collingwood fans, me and Hamish, so we were watching the game, and if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, although it happened a week ago, so I don't know what you can expect from a sports podcast. This is on you at this point.
Yes.
But it was quite anticlimactic seeing the draw, if I'm being entirely honest.
Well, as it turned out, it probably got a bit interesting. Well, I mean, to start off, Melbourne-Richmond, that was a snooze fest.
Oh, that was terrible.
A sloppy game.
That was disappointing.
I felt like I was watching like under 14s footy for half that game. Until
Melbourne actually sort of managed to play footy, it was a bit, up until half-time, it was a bit, oh, great, this is going to start off the round well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And well, then to start off the game between Collingwood and Essendon, within about 4 minutes, Essendon were up by 5 goals.
Well,
we were literally sitting there.
You're like, I hate football.
Yeah.
I think I messaged you that. I think I hate football.
I was with you, Jay, and your family, and I've never seen
family,
us.
If you're listening,
I've never seen us.
My dad.
What?
I made it. I made it famous.
I never seen us that quiet before. 10 minutes in, Essendon 5 goals up, stunned silence.
I literally started editing like podcast clips for TikTok because I needed something to take them on.
Yeah.
We weren't even halfway through like quarter one. And it was at that point.
No, it wasn't great.
We just got obliterated those first 4 minutes and then brought the game back and obviously ends in the draw.
Yeah. Would you have rather, after the entire game, after your great comeback, would you have rather drawed or lost?
Draw.
Another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I think
that would have been great.
Lost. To be honest, I didn't want to lose. I think that would have felt really bad. But I would have risked the loss to get a win, let's put it that way.
So you'd rather play the extra 5
I'd rather the 5 minutes to risk
why not just play until the next score?
Well, that's what I was saying, yeah.
Just next score wins.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, if it was going that way, probably Pies would
It has to be like a goal though, it can't be a behind.
First 6 points, if you can kick 6 behinds, you can win it as well.
Jeez.
Well,
Feeling arrogant.
That could be a strat though.
Just lock it in your forward half.
Yeah.
You'd have to be very lucky though.
No, it's probably a better strategy though, is if you get a shot at goal, maybe just to kick the goal that's going to win the game.
That's true.
At some point, maybe that's worth the extra 5 points.
So,
but it was obviously a weird game, and it has been discussed a lot, obviously, whether or not overtime should be brought into the AFL. You're an NBA fan, and obviously
it is in
NBA,
finals, we should say.
It's in the finals now, which wasn't a thing back in 2010 when Collingwood
Yeah,
Lost.
So that's
but
what's
then
happened
collectively agreed
grand
if it went to extra time in 2010, we would have lost.
Oh yeah, Saints would.
So that's
dominate
what I look like when Scott Pendlebury was like, "Oh, I wish there's extra time."
You mean Scott Embleby?
Scott Pendlebury.
Ben 10.
All the was saying, "Yeah, you want that, but you never would have had a premiership back in 2010 if you."
That's true.
So
I mean, ipso facto, he got one in 2023, 13 years later. I mean, very much nicer to have two.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm still all in favor of overtime. I think
Yeah.
you're playing the game on that day.
No one's really against.
You want to
it, are
win.
they?
I don't think so. Not in because
What's the cons of having?
well, the only
extra time?
cons I can really see.
You've got the older people, though, who are
Back in my
traditionalists
day.
saying
More
that
conservative.
you play, it's tradition. They say you'd be taking something away from it.
Taking what?
But what?
Well,
winner.
Exactly. Yeah.
A result.
Yeah.
The goal
come
of
back
one
next
week.
Yes.
The only thing I can think of that goes against it is the fact that in footy, because not for the Anzac Day game, it wouldn't have affected that, but when you have games back to back, you obviously it affects the next broadcast sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can
That's
fall behind for that.
understandable.
Yeah.
And that's obviously tough. But I always get to the point, like, the reason we're watching footy is for a close finish in a good footy game where it's like a 1 goal difference. Why would you... That's literally the reason we watch footy is for those good close finishes. Why rob ourselves of an extra 5 minutes of what's obviously a good close game? I just don't see any reason not to have
We
it
do
that
also
way.
need to throw in that it was a very good game of footy.
It was a great game of footy.
Yeah.
Everyone but except for Brody Myer kicking it out on the full that won us the game.
Two
That's
chances.
twice as well.
Yeah, twice in the
Twice
last
out on the
quarter.
full. He kicked 3 goals.
shocking.
If
for
one
and
of
2 out the full.
those-
He could have
Yeah.
kicked like 10.
He could have kicked a.
If there was a behind any of those, would have
Would've won.
walked away with the 1 point win. The other major talking point of Collingwood Essendon, Jamie Elliott.
That was quite
Discuss.
a mark. Obviously, we're talking about the one at the end which he dropped, which he could have
Yes,
kicked.
yeah,
Obviously,
no,
that's the one we're
there's a
discussing
very
here.
clear chess mark that, yeah.
Clear chest mark.
Yeah.
Just before we get to, obviously, the mark we're going to talk about, that's a part that I haven't seen anyone bring up. Elliott literally had a chest mark 35 metres out on the boundary, but because he didn't need to kick a goal, he needed to kick it behind, that he absolutely fumbled the bag with 30 seconds to go. So Elliott, personally, on behalf of a Collingwood fan, I blame you entirely for the loss for Collingwood. It is on you. You let your team down. You let the country. I blame you for the draw. You let your team down. You let your country down. You let yourself down. You let us here at the Carb Loaders down. And honestly, I think letting the Carb Loaders down should hurt.
I think Jay's taking this fairly to hands.
Yeah, I really do.
was a-
I'm coming for Elliott.
I mean,
at this point. I'm just going.
I mean, you said loss. In your head, I bet it feels like a loss.
It does because Elliott could have won it for us. And Jamie, I blame you entirely.
What about checkers? 5 minutes ago, you were bagging them out too.
You're dead to me, Jamie Elliott.
Also, would love to have you on the show later.
Yeah.
If you're ever
Thanks,
interested.
I mean, I bagged out Adelaide and Perth last week, and now we got Jay bagging out Jamie Elliott, who
Hanger of the
you
century.
support because
Yeah, I love Elliott. But Elliott,
Hang on.
you're dead to me.
Let's get back to the mark of the century.
Yes.
though.
Okay.
That's
So
probably not a good.
yeah.
probably a
So
good point.
in amongst all the great marks that we've had over over 100 years of AFL footy, where would that sit amongst?
Top
30.
top
Is that
10.
top 30? I was going to say top 10.
I watched
top
a bunch
5
of
even.
like people's top 50 or whatever marks of the century or whatever, and I personally put it within the 10 range.
Okay.
Comparing it to other.
Leo Barry, you star.
I think that's the thing. There's a couple different types of marks you can think about. You can think
Exactly.
about like
the flashy ones.
the flashy ones. Like I'm thinking like the Jezelenko mark, which is so
It
infamous.
also
Gary
helps when you have
Ablett.
commentators going, Jezelenko!
Exactly. It doesn't help that the commentators said nothing and they cut the camera halfway through his mark and missed half of it.
It's become a radio program. It's just you have to believe us to how good that was. You
But,
okay?
yeah. No, I was thinking for a second there. Jezelenko's mark, Ablett's Gary Ablett Senior has an amazing mark. You got like the
Did you say
Jeremy
Himmelberg?
Howes.
2 of Himmelberg's last he obviously won mark of his season last year.
He hasn't got. I reckon Jeremy Howe's mark.
Yeah,
Against
exactly.
Sydney, that's one of the best
Yes.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I feel like there's.
Ash Johnson last year
It
against
sits up
Carlton.
with all those really good. Like for me, I think it's in that range of really good marks. But like, then you have those like crucial marks like the Leo Barrys and
Not
stuff
exactly
like that.
a flashy mark,
Mark,
but
but
it's important.
It's a
to the game.
game-winning mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a Nick Rewalt going back with the flight. Those
Yeah.
sort of marks,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I think. I also think that's just as impressive as the.
Yeah.
You know. That's why this is, I know it's goal of the year, not mark of the year, but my favourite goal, I'm not sure whether you remember, is the Marcus Bontempelli goal from 2017, 16, something like that, where it was like, it was a good goal, like snap around the corner, but it was like 45 seconds to go in a 1-goal game, and he won the game off this kick. So like, it's not just the kick, it's the moment, the pressure.
The importance.
To talk NBA, it's like, that's why I think Ray Allen's 3 is still the biggest 3 ever hit, because it's not just how good of a shot it was, it's the moment and everything like that.
Well, how important is that really when if you take away the situation and you take away the significance of whatever it is, I'm not even talking about footy, just like sport in general, right? How important do you think that is to the overall, how people see it afterwards? Do you know what I mean?
I think it plays a pretty big part. I still think it would have been mark of the year if it was a Sunday 4:30 game.
Oh, yeah. If it was Hawks, Sydney, yeah.
Yes, which we won't talk about today.
That was hard to watch.
That was not a good game.
So hard I didn't watch it.
A resident Hawks fan didn't even want to watch it.
I think...
I can't believe more fans didn't leave. Like, Hawks fans didn't leave.
I think
there weren't that many people there.
And helped that Buddy Franklin had his, like...
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you could have just gone to watch Buddy and gone, all right.
I'm out of time.
That'll do.
Yeah.
$40 there, yeah.
Going back to the Elliott goal, though, I think...
Mark, you mean?
Or the Elliott mark.
Well, then goal.
The Elliott mark.
Well,
it was a marking goal.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I think...
Imagine if he kicked that for behind.
He just ruined the entire moment.
Yeah.
Out on the full.
You hear the whole crowd go,
I do think there's a part where the moment, the game it's in, being Anzac Day, 95,000.
Yeah, that's going to be remembered.
It does get him remembered for a
it'll
long
be generational.
time.
Yeah.
It's a generational mark. But
the photos that came out of it were pretty cool.
they were pretty decent
That
photos.
photo, the one that they released straight after,
Yeah.
whoever that photographer is, give him a raise.
He's in for them.
That
I
was
wish there was a
beautiful
different angle though, because it's kind of from like sort of behind. I wish there was one from right in front.
He would have had to be on the ground to do that, but
very long.
He would have had to literally,
he's from the...
like a 600mm lens.
he would have had to
He's in
literally
the
stand there. Sorry guys, this is going to be really good. Just,
No one.
Mackay, stand there. Oh no, do it again.
Yeah, bring it back.
Bring it back.
Yeah, just the AFL is.
He just hits the footy, kicks it back to go again.
Yeah.
It's rehearsed.
It's first.
I was a bit skeptical when the commentators called the Elliott mark before he kicked it.
Yes.
Elliott! Rewind, Elliott!
Yeah. Imagine if imagine all those commentators if he fumbled it or it wasn't as good.
I mean, like, talking about commentators during Mark, what's his name from Channel 7? Basil Zemplis.
Oh, yeah.
He was in the
Mayor of
middle.
Perth.
He was in the middle of discussing one of the teams was losing by a lot, and he got into this little like side story about back in the 90s Australian cricket team, because he's just obviously trying to and he's talking about how he's like Mark Taylor at first was always just like clapping and he's getting amongst it and cheering the team on, like you can never tell whether they're like 1 for 300 or like whatever. So he's in the middle of this little anecdote. In the middle of it, I forget who it was. Someone takes this just absolute like belter of a mark. I'll try, if I can find the clip, I will play it here. It's an amazing mark. And in the commentary, Basil Zemplis obviously was in this. Yeah. Two months like, do I continue with my story or do I go for the mark?
No, what's he
so
done?
what he did was he sort of combined them both. So he did the voice change of the mark, but kept the story going. So he's like, it's like Mark Taylor at the first slip. You wouldn't know that 1 for 300 or 7 for 9. And then goes and calls the mark, but the voice went up. But so during this guy's all-time career high, you just had the commentary, 7 for 9.
Talking about something completely
completely undo with the game, and it's one of my favourite pieces of commentary because of it. Because he was stuck between two minds and absolutely chose the worst option that was available to him.
All right, so Geelong, where's this come from?
Should we be scared? Back out of retirement.
I think Tom Hawkins.
Yep.
Jeremy Cameron.
What are they feeding them down at the retirement home? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
So what are they putting in that jelly?
Exactly.
What's Jeremy Cameron going on that farm?
We're on to you, Jezza.
That was, Carlton all of a sudden decided to play footy again in the fourth quarter. Look, as much as Collingwood's fans delight, Thanks, Geelong. The lid is well and truly back on
That's true.
with the Blues. If you watch any of Daniel Goinger's
I love
Instas, I'm just gonna put the lid back on.
Do you think like Carlton there is something to be concerned about with Carlton?
They're dipping. They've
What's their
soared
record
high.
What's their record right now?
5-2, if I'm not mistaken, which I probably am.
They've got Collingwood 5.
They're 5-2.
Who
Percentage of only 112, which isn't great when you're 5-2. Essendon a 4-2-1 and a percentage of 93.
Essendon
How do you do that?
Quietly sneaking.
Like Collingwood has a better percentage than them, and we've got what's that? One less win as well.
Yeah. Jeez, okay.
And we had a draw with
How important
So
will
good.
those 2 points be from the draw, do you think?
very important for Collingwood.
Yeah.
That is one part about the draw that it's like both teams do kind of come out a winner in terms
Yeah,
of
it's
the.
true, points wise.
Because Carlton's 2 points when they drew round 1 last year with Richmond, that got them 4th.
I heard my dad came up with a theory, which I'm going to bring up to you guys and see what you think about the draw.
5th, sorry.
Going back to the draw,
Go on.
you play overtime,
No.
but instead of making this the winner takes all, the winner of overtime gets 3 points, and the loser of overtime gets 1 point for the ladder. So that way, it's still the equivalent of a draw, but if the two of them match up against...
But you don't want
the
odd
two-
numbers.
But that way, if the two of them come against each other, the team that won the overtime... So the overtime isn't actually a tiebreaker for the winner of the game. It's a tiebreaker between the two of them if they end up in the same spot on the ladder or if against someone else who has a draw, etc.
Oh.
So it's like,
I don't
you
like
still
it.
don't... So it's the same as a draw in the fact that you won't end on the same number as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes a tiebreaker to...
But then that
Everyone-
becomes like soccer.
Yeah, so you just get a tiebreaker against one other team.
No.
Which would be... I feel like it would be interesting. Because if Collingwood and Essendon, we're pretty close to each other on the ladder, it'd mean they have a tiebreaker between
But then
themselves.
where there's percentage,
So-
that just makes it...
Well,
second
percentage
tier.
is sort of
Or third
second
tier.
tier for us anyways because we're...
Well, 3rd tier.
We're percentage is already out of the question really because we've got a draw. So it's like... It just means that game has a lot more relevance for those two teams.
I don't know.
I don't know what it'd be like. It'd be weird to see how it played out. But going back to Geelong, they are obviously looking good.
7-0.
7-0.
They got Melbourne this weekend.
What is their upcoming schedule? Let's have a look here.
They got Melbourne, and then I think they got quite a few winnable games.
Yeah, because they've had...
Jeez.
Well, while you're doing that, we'll quickly move from...
Well, I've got to hear quickly. Because they've
okay.
beaten... They beat the Saints. Okay. Adelaide in Adelaide. That's tougher. Hawthorn on
No, Easter Monday.
Easter Monday.
Yeah.
Beat the Bulldogs by 4. Okay. Blew out the Kangas.
No.
That's not...
Again,
Beat
Brisbane.
Brisbane in Brisbane, which... I don't know if that is a
That
tough game
speaks
or
more
not.
about Brisbane than it does Geelong.
Beat Carlton in a bit of a nail bite, 13 points, so not too big, but then they got Melbourne, Port, but in Geelong, Gold Coast over there, Giants. I think the next 4 weeks are going to be quite telling. You got Melbourne, Port, Gold Coast, Giants. Like
Well, only time is that GMHBA.
If they're 3-1
you got to expect.
if they go
mean-
3-1 in that round, I think you have to have them as premiership favourites at that point.
Yeah.
If they're 10-1
If
at
not
the end,
already.
because then after that you got Richmond, Sydney, which is another tough game, Carlton again.
Jeez.
Then Essendon, Hawthorn, you get Collingwood, Bulldogs, North, Adelaide, Freo, Saints, West Coast. So the back half of their run is actually their easiest
Jeez.
run. So
scary.
that's like really scary. Then 7-0 against these teams.
Worried.
I'm quite worried.
So now we've talked how good Geelong are. Brisbane. Is the era coming to an end?
I feel
Or
like
was last season just a one-off?
Well,
they've been
Chris,
good for a few years in Brisbane is the concerning. That's the weird thing is like,
Yeah.
but you look again, that's the weird thing about their losses is that it came in, by 1 point to Carlton in opening round, but up in Brisbane. Lost by 23 to Freo, but in Perth.
Okay.
Lost to Collingwood in Brisbane by 20.
that was a surprise.
That's a weird game.
That's
Destroyed Kangas like every team. Beat Melbourne in Melbourne. Lose to Geelong in Brisbane. That was a shocking game. They only scored 37.
Yeah.
Then get blown out by the Giants, but over in Western Sydney.
Did you watch the Giants Brisbane game?
I didn't get to see that game.
Up until half time, they were competitive.
Yeah.
They were only down by
Well, looking at
Yeah.
7-8 points.
It was a pretty
half-time.
back and forth game.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 42 to
Yeah.
50. It was like 10-point game at half time.
Yeah.
And then Giants kicked 5 goals to none in the third quarter, then 4 goals to 2 in the fourth quarter. So Giants just blew them out in the. You can see the worm there. Like it just they blew them out in the second. It was a very close game. It was about 10 points.
Because at one point in the second quarter, I was thinking, oh, Brisbane could.
Yeah, Brisbane got ahead. Brisbane were ahead.
Yeah, I thought Brisbane could sneak this year. I mean, yes, it's the Giants at Monaco, but yeah.
Yeah, Brisbane got up by.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, like 10 points, 8 points at one point. Then you look back there, it was at halftime. I think it was a 8-point game, so it was very, very winnable. I think there are concerns for Brisbane in the short term. Also, the fact that this isn't exactly young anymore.
No.
And they've got. I remember I saw it. I can't remember all the names. So there was about 4 or 5 big free agents over the next 2 years, and they're already expensive, so they're going to have to. They can't keep everyone.
Right.
I think Brisbane might be coming to a concern again this year. Ooh. It's hard to see. What are they?
Let's be honest. Top 4 is out of the question.
But they're 2 and 5, so they're going to struggle to make the finals.
Yeah. Top 4 is way out of the question.
Yeah. Totally.
Top 8 is now
in doubt.
Yeah.
They're going to have to jump 5 teams to get back in.
Yeah.
And maybe Adelaide, maybe Bulldogs, maybe Gold Coast, maybe Freo, Essendon are probably the 5 teams you have to jump to get back in.
Traditionally as well, teams that have made grand finals usually have a tougher draw.
That's true.
Season too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break here real quick, and we'll be back on the other side with some news from around the world.
We are back.
We are back with Around the World.
Oh, yes.
A few things have been happening around the world at the moment. Obviously, the world keeps turning, and so do we.
What a shame.
Very,
What a shame.
What's
We
it
have to
called?
get up
Philosophical.
every day.
We're just sitting in this fancy chair, and it just makes a man think about life. And been wondering what it all means.
Anyway,
Go on.
let's get back to
This chair is really bouncy. It's a bouncy.
It's like those things at the shopping centres where you strap yourself in.
What?
Trampolines. And
You're like the trampoline.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, around the
I
world
still
news.
love this.
We're starting with the NBA.
Yes.
Uh,
I might need the tissues for this one.
once again, it's a tough day for Jay. It is Tuesday the 30th of April. The Lakers just got eliminated from the playoffs in the first round.
We've filmed 2 episodes of the podcast thus far, and each time Jamal Murray has hit a dagger game winner over the Lakers' heads.
It hasn't gone well.
No.
In Denver, from the mid-range, just the exact same shot 2 weeks in a row. Yeah. And I was literally, we were in the car park, we were at Woolies, we're buying some stuff for something you'll see in the 3rd segment of this episode.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. And I was literally sitting there, I was just had my phone eagerly watching, and then Jamal Murray, I just closed the phone and just sat there, and I just sort of...
I was sitting there eating a pie, and
I
just put the phone down and going, what's going on?
I was just like, that's enough basketball for today.
What even is basketball? Anyway.
Now we get to
so that
discuss it
happened.
live on the podcast.
OKC just swept New Orleans today. I was watching that.
They look
I thought
scary Thunder.
the Pels had a good chance. It was even up until about the fourth quarter.
Knew what you guys were
They're sort
talking
of
about.
even in every game.
Yeah,
a
but-
bit, the Pelicans this year. Not completely, but they took it to them. They almost beat the Lakers last year for the most competitive sweep in NBA history.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not the team I want to talk about.
No.
T-Wolves, baby. I'm a Timberwolves fan, and I am the happiest man alive right now. First time we've made the second round since 2004. The year I was fucking born.
I was about to
Anthony
say,
Edwards
were you
is the
even
new
born?
Kevin Garnett.
He's the new Michael Jordan.
Okay, genuine question as a T-Wolves fan. Obviously,
Yeah.
you weren't there for the prime of his career.
No.
Where does the current Ant team, where does that compare to the KG for the Timberwolves?
Oh, we're better.
The team is better, but
statistically, we're better.
Ant versus KG, who would you rather have as your... where does Ant sit amongst the best Minnesota Timberwolves players of all time yet?
I think KG's still better purely because he's defensive player.
And he got the MVP. If Ant gets you to the conference finals this year, where does this year Ant run?
I think if he
compare?
gets us to the finals, because KG got us to the conference finals.
Okay, if Ant can get you to the finals, is this the best Minnesota Timberwolves season of any player ever?
Gotcha.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Is Rudy Gobert the best defense, the best center seat? No. Nikhil Alexander Walker, where does
You want
it?
to say it with any more confidence, Sam?
I've been a Wolves fan for 8 years now, and I've never had confidence. I wasn't even sure, even though we've just swept the Suns, is, by the way. Sorry, Joe, you're going to have to edit that one out.
To any of our fans from Phoenix, let me just make a note of that.
We've got to write a list of all the cities and countries.
In a map, and we cross it off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wasn't even sure, even though we had just swept the Suns, I still was like, I'm not confident about this. And I know we've got the Nuggets now in the second round. I am scared that we versed them first round of last year. We only won one game, but they were quoted, Bruce Brown did say we were the toughest team they had to verse all the way through their premiership run.
Aren't you lucky that the Denver got rid of us so you don't have to face the Lakers in round
Chris
2
Brown, the
over
singer,
Denver? You must be so grateful that Denver got lucky again. Lakers poor shooting, D'Lo can't shoot against Denver, all those things came your way.
I'm glad we got rid of D'Lo. I remember when that happened.
Shut up.
I was devastated. Anyway, that's not what we were talking about this before. Chris Finch, quite possibly the first ever coach to be injured during a game.
So just to give context, if you're
Ruptured patella tendon.
Chris Finch, the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves game, with 2 minutes left, tore his knee.
Yeah, Mike Conley ran
in
into
game.
him.
A player fell into him and he's torn his knee on the sidelines.
Yes.
Been carried out by the players. It is one of the most incredible
Finchie,
injuries that has ever. Chris Finch is a great coach. I love him as a coach, but we just want to discuss where it sits amongst the most
Random
injuries you've ever seen in a footy game. Or not a footy game, in a sporting game, I should say. And also just have a bit of a discussion around what does it actually do to your team if your coach tears his knee? Like, this is unmarked territory for sport to be going through. You're going to a finals run.
Sorry, just to interrupt you there. There's reports today that he's going to be on crutches for about 6 weeks.
Wow.
I don't know if he can sit or stand, but he's got to constantly have it extended. So I'm presuming that he's sitting.
He's just going to sit on the side and trip everyone that goes over the go. Because like in the NBA, they're so close to the sideline as well.
So it's going to be weird how they actually sort that out on the sideline.
He's in row 2.
It's these little folded chairs.
They're
all
tiny
stacked
chairs.
next to each other. Half the players have to sit on the ground, for God's sake.
Yeah. I've never understood the NBA benches, how they've got away with what they do.
I think it's only for the sake of big players crashing into them because they fold.
Yeah.
I've seen TikToks on it.
Okay.
Like, remember when Shaq dove into the crowd, or like Dennis Rodman or something?
Yeah.
If you're getting him diving onto a sturdy gel like this,
Yeah.
he's going to hurt himself.
Yes.
Whereas it's like the WWE chairs can just snap like that.
Okay.
So that's why.
I didn't know that.
But it's going to be interesting to see Finchie
Coaching on the sideline with his leg up.
Was he lying on the bench?
He's just sideways. They've got him on the roller bed. He's out there, got the cables in. He's sitting there.
It's going to be weird.
I do think it is really interesting that if you were to say I'm going to say third most important person in the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Third?
No! Where would you put Finch in terms of most important?
I would rather say, so there's a 15-man roster.
No, but I'm just saying in terms of like, not for the injury, the third most valuable person. Like I'd say Ant 1, Gobert 2, Chris Finch 3, and then Cat and stuff.
I'm putting...
Would you rather have a lousy coach with Cat or have Chris Finch and then a random power forward?
A lousy coach.
Okay, so maybe fourth above
fifth.
McDaniel. McDaniel's above fifth. Conley above him?
Nas Reed.
But like, okay, a top 5 most important person for Minnesota has torn their knee in game 4. You'd be like, oh, they cooked against Denver. Except it's the coach. Like, where does it actually how much does it impact?
That's really weird.
What is it going to do to it?
Because obviously we've got other coaches.
Has Hamish fallen asleep? Or
To be fair, it's not.
This is Hamish's siesta every week.
Yeah, it's not his
When we talk NBA.
Yeah, this is why I just zone out for about 10 minutes.
Well, this is me doing the footy segment. So we've got our strengths.
What do you mean during the footy segment? We talked about Hawthorn for about 2 seconds.
And then I'm done. No, it's really interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, we still have other coaches, our assistant coaches, who still know the game plan.
Yes.
So whether or not Finchie will be there for the first game or 2, I'm not even sure.
I want to see, can the coach on crutches? Can he be on the sideline on crutches?
Well, Darvin Ham does it with his hands in his pocket.
Shut up about Darvin Ham. Oh.
So
Coach
yes.
Pockets over here. If you follow the NBA, you'll know what that
Darvin Turkey.
does.
So yeah. Anyway,
Easy.
I'm done with the NBA.
But is that I do want to ask you quickly. If you were to pick someone, you would rather get injured than Chris Finch. What player? Where on your roster are you? You're getting like player 14 on your 15-man roster. You're getting like player 10. I'm interested to see because, as I said, Chris Finch, if he can't be at the games, if he has to sit on the sideline, if he's in pain, it's going to be affecting the mental side. How much would you rather just lose a bench player than Chris Finch?
We've got our 15-man roster. I'm putting him at like 13th.
Okay.
So am I putting him above? Who am I saying? Wendell Moore? Yes. Josh Minot? Yes.
Would you rather him or like
Jalen Clark? Yes, because he's been out all year. Am I putting him above Luka Garza? Yes.
What about like
unless
Jordan McLaughlin gets minutes every once in a while?
Yeah, he's our backup guard, I'm pretty sure.
Do you have TJ Warren?
Yeah, we signed him just before on the 10 days.
Really?
Just before we couldn't do it anymore. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is. He's not played much.
No. Monte Morris?
Yeah, he's been solid for us.
You'd rather Morris than...
Yeah. So I'm putting Finchy around the 10.
You'd rather have like a Monte Morris than have a fully working Chris Finch. A Chris Finch that can walk.
Yes.
Okay.
But I would rather have Chris Finch over Luka Garza, Josh Minot, Wendell.
Okay, those. What about if Craig McRae was to do his ACL this week in the college?
It's not really as big in the footy though, because I can sit in the coach's box.
But I'm like, if he's like, because
I will say
McRae's on the side. Would you rather? Because McRae isn't.
I will say there's a very famous example. It's not in the footy world, but Premier League. Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool manager, a few years ago.
That's Liverpool. I like this.
Celebrating a goal. You, Sam. I just had to listen to this for 10 minutes. While celebrating a goal, pulled his hammy.
Wow.
And he had to...
How athletic do you have to be to do that?
I didn't know. He was going to buy a meat pie at the MCQ the other day.
He was doing a full-on sprint down, because they must have scored like a last-minute goal. He's doing a full-on sprint down. And there's footage of him. He's running, and then you just see him grab his hammy, and he squeeze, and then he goes to the doctor and goes, "I'm no good."
That's so funny.
That's interesting.
And he had to miss a couple of games because he had
That is... Well, talking about the most crazy... I wish I had all the details of this, but the most weird sporting injuries.
Is this that NFL one that happened?
What one's that?
Remember during Super Bowl when that bloke was it the Chiefs that was running onto the field and he just did his Achilles or something?
There was that. I was also thinking there was one where a guy on the sideline snapped his leg in half. Like one of the coaches, one of the assistants, because a player came through and they had to get the card out and stop the game to get him off and stuff. Like one of the coaches in the NFL, because they're again just on the sideline. But no, this is in footy. Back, it was like local league VFL or something back in like the 70s or 80s. I have an old mate who told me about it.
Hamish, I'm sure you remember this.
He's 4 years older than us.
What are you trying to say, you
6 years, actually.
Don't remind me of how old I am.
We were in the VFL. It was like in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
I think it was in the VFL. It was one of the local leagues. And there was a coach, not a coach, an umpire, who'd been he'd been a bit clogged up inside for a few days.
Oh, no.
Sounds like me yesterday.
Sounds like me right now. I had Taco Bell for lunch.
Clogged up, that's not the word I would use.
Why would you torture yourself like that?
You're building, that's not clogged up, that's building up for a grand finale.
Sam, question to ask you. Why would you have Taco Bell when you can have Pizza Hut?
That's the most shameless plug for a sponsor ever. If they were our sponsor, but they're not even our sponsor. The most shameless plug of a desired sponsor.
Pizza Hut, please sponsor us.
But
I've got Domino's calling. I have to hold them off.
Papa John's has been going at us for weeks now. But this umpire was a bit clogged up, so the wife decided to make him give him prune juice because apparently it's supposed to free you up.
Yeah.
She didn't have a look to see how much she's supposed to get. So gave him a whole glass of it.
Oh.
Which just absolutely is like a laxative on steroids at this point. He gets to the game about 45 minutes.
First tackle, he'd be himself.
40 minutes, he's the umpire. So he blows the whistle to start the game. Eyes go at this big. He's like,
and then he also blew something else.
Runs out. Everyone at the game is like, where's he gone? Waiting around for 10 minutes. He said he comes back on, starts the quarter, didn't call a free kick the whole quarter. So the coaches come and complain at quarter time. He was like, can you if I blow the whistle, I think I'm going to dirty myself. He's he had no confidence in his bowel movement at all. So he had to
Do the AFL umpires at the moment do that when Carlton's playing?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Literally, I think they take pre-injuries before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to find out the detail. Maybe before next week I'll be seeing this, mate. I'll try and get the details from him of that story. But he said they had to get a replacement umpire for half time because he said he just had to keep running.
Amazing. That's
He
fantastic.
He had no confidence to blow the whistle because he said the effort to do that might release at both ends.
What about if the ball goes out of bounds or whatever and he has to blow,
He said he wasn't. He would just call it.
Yeah.
Keep it
Yeah.
in. He said nothing. Everything went.
Oh my goodness.
What
But
about when, there's a mark or whatever? And
He said he wasn't paying marks or
No,
anything.
he's just going like,
Yeah.
He was just like, Mark, you just wouldn't blow the whistle because he said he was too scared to.
that's,
But yeah, it was
wow.
all that to say, it was quite an interesting. I think that's one of the most interesting injuries of all. Well, I'm not sure whether you can call that an injury,
not
but
really an injury.
internal discomfort of all time.
I reckon he caught an injury. That's scarring.
That's hurt.
That's pain.
Yes.
That is so much pain. Imagine that. Imagine being an ump and, you're worried.
And then the
Not
local
only-
footy toilets as
Yes.
well. In the 70s.
Oh,
did you
yes.
say?
I think so, 70s, 80s.
Oh,
They'll still have straw on the
that's
floor.
a drop toilet, right?
That's, yeah. No toilet paper.
Yeah.
Imagine the smells that would be coming out
Oh,
of
it's
that.
just a tin shed, like an outhouse.
Imagine
Ooh.
like during the middle of during summer, when it's hot thing. You're
Oh.
sweating before you even take.
Oh, just absolutely sends.
Once you've done your dump, then you got to worry about.
That'll be stuck to the bowl as well. And everything.
Ah.
There's no way that's coming out solid.
I apologise if you're eating at the moment and you haven't visualised this. This is just. I mean, this is a literal situation.
Talk.
Oh, well,
Are we done with toilet time?
I think we're
Yeah,
done
I think
with
we're
segment
done
2.
with
We'll
Yeah.
we'll see you guys on the other side for a bit more. But if you,
I think Jay's got to go take a dump now.
I was going to say, I don't think there's any listeners left. But if you're still here, we'll see you soon. I guess.
I don't blame you for turning off.
All right.
All right, we are here with a bit of a speciality. We are the Carb Loaders here.
You might have to zoom in on that one.
First question:
Well,
Why do we have Raisin Toast?
Well, I'll tell you why. If you give me a minute, calm down.
Deep breaths, Hamish.
Okay,
Who's that voice?
Go to your happy place, Hamish.
I don't have a happy place.
You're on the beach. There's sand all around. There's water.
I hate sand.
You're in a field. There's grass.
I hate grass.
High favor.
You just start sneezing.
It's like, you're inside.
You're inside. There's an aircon.
I'm claustrophobic.
You're dead. There's a coffin.
Yes, I'm dead. Yes.
Alrighty.
I'm scared of death.
There's a
I'm scared of death.
We are the Carb Loaders, and
Yes.
as part of the Carb Loaders, we're going to talk about sport, but we have two major loves of our life: sport and food, and we want to combine them both in this podcast. So we sent out a bit of a message to some of our fans this week, aka my family, my mum. Imagine bringing your mum onto the podcast. But okay,
Come on.
we want to discuss some of your favorite weird as foods that people eat, because people eat some weird foods in the world. We're well aware of this by this point.
Now again, we're not talking about your
Dipping your fries in your
Fries in
milkshake.
your-
We've heard of that. We
No.
want something that really makes us concerned. We said last week, we left the challenge that Sam wanted your suggestions to blow his socks off. Sam, do you have socks on?
Yes.
Well, then that means this is good, but it's not good enough. We're looking for something weirder than that next week.
I'm talking orange juice and Milo. Type weird.
Oh,
Yes.
what made you think of that?
Oh.
Why would he say that, you
Oh.
weirdo?
Ooh, maybe
You
that's it.
psychotic little freak. What are you thinking?
You're
Your brain is a weird place, Sam.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just
Anyways,
saying like weird.
Well,
My
before
mum
it gets
has this
cold.
weird. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
already pretty cold. My mum has this weird tradition. Not weird. I love you, mum. You're good, but this isn't. Where she will eat raisin toast, not with butter or even jam, which I've heard of. Some people have it with jam, and that's
Jam
okay.
That's
makes
okay
sense.
because that's a fruit as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She has it with Vegemite.
Now,
Butter, and she smears on the Vegemite as well. Like it's
does she?
strong when she does.
What does she?
Oh,
What does she
no.
go like a full?
No, she's not having it by the
Bricklayer.
spoonful, but she's having it like.
She's having like a
black all
full
over.
bricklayer.
Yeah, exactly.
split.
It's It
Like
looked
how you would do butter.
like how you do jam
Or Vegemite.
like how you
Or
do
Nut-
jam.
Or Nutella or something.
Yeah, like it looks more Nutella-y often when she puts it on.
Actually,
So,
Raisin Toast and Nutella.
so we haven't got Vegemite. We've
We've got
got
Marmite.
we
just
got
for honey.
Marmite, the next best thing.
'Cause
New
apparently
Zealand
that's
knows what to
Kiwi.
do.
apparently it's a Kiwi thing. It's
It was
Marmite.
cheaper too.
Give it a smell.
It smells just like Vegemite.
I was gonna say give it a smell to the audience. I can't smell it. Have a smell.
If you're watching this in smell-o-vision, I'm so sorry.
Smell of it. So we're gonna give this a go.
It smells like
and we're
pure
gonna
gold.
rate it.
Butter
What we
okay.
didn't think was maybe to have a glass of milk or some sort of drink to wash this down. Yeah. Our mouth's gonna be very sticky for the rest of the episode.
Sticky.
You know what I mean? Okay. Good. After talking about the laxative last, that's not a sight I want to see. Is this?
Here we go.
Yeah.
This will be.
Lather it up, baby.
That came
Oh.
from that bathroom that I'm
Now we
was
got to
in.
do exactly what your mum says.
Now,
We
we've
can't-
also gone hardcore. We haven't put butter on. She will at least put butter on to soften the blow a little
Soften the
bit.
blow.
But we forgot to
Oh,
buy
that
butter.
just looks wrong.
Good. God.
Oh.
That's
I'll
not.
show it to the camera when you're done.
Yeah, yeah.
You go and
I'll
take
go
it for a
and
walk.
Oh,
Go, walk over there, Sam.
no.
Walk over there, Sam. I'll hand it to you. That is stronger than he would do. I'll be honest.
that
I
is.
wasn't really thinking.
Now, if you're not Aussie or you're not an avid fan of Vegemite, you know it's very light Vegemite and that's it, okay?
Yeah.
This is stronger than he would do. I'll be honest.
Why are you putting so much on?
Like a lot of butter and
Yeah.
a tiny amount of
You're
Vegemite.
taking that home, by the way.
No.
Oh, don't lick your fingers.
Now, let's see if this focuses.
No, I've got a manual focus.
It won't.
The, fir-
Anyway, this is a lot.
the first question is, do we all like Vegemite? Are we
Yes.
all like...
I'm not a Vegemite
I'm not.
fan.
You're not.
I don't
No.
like Vegemite.
That's interesting. I have it every day for brekkie.
Really?
Why?
Hold on. Wait,
Oh,
you,
no,
I see. Maybe can you repeat that way we can hear you on the mic?
Yeah. Alright, so I'm a fan of Vegemite. There's two on it.
Yes.
My secret, the trick is white
on.
bread,
Not on Raisin.
ton of butter,
Yeah.
very, very small bit of Vegemite, glasses of orange juice. That's me every morning.
Okay.
Why orange juice and
No,
Vegemite?
milk. If you're having toast, it's with milk.
No, I can't.
What?
So,
Sam, you need to go into like a something.
Australian! What do you
Okay,
mean?
wait.
I'm a
probably-
Kiwi and I'm
That's
into,
why you don't like it!
I'm into like Marmite.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hang on. We need to.
Yeah,
We,
back off a bit.
we don't have
for honey.
enough pieces.
The budget didn't.
Can I, why are you giving me the big piece?
You're not eating the whole thing. Well,
Hang on.
in the name of the Carb Loaders.
the things we
Cheers.
do.
Cheers, boys. Cheers.
Ah.
Oh, right, so,
Cheers at you.
ready?
Oh. Very salty. Oh, God. Oh.
This is wrong on so many levels.
Oh.
I'm actually listening. This is a podcast. ASMR.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh. Oh, no.
Hamish, Jay's like, oh, this is terrible, as he continues to keep eating it.
No, I haven't
It's
eaten.
still Raisin Toast. What can I say?
I still like raisins.
Oh.
All right, verdict.
Dry. It's very dry.
Oh, it's just like there's obviously a little bit of cinnamon or something in the raisin toast, and it's not working with Vegemite. Who? What? I'm sorry, I don't want to have a go at your mum, right?
But what is going on?
Because I know her and she's a very nice lady, right? But the
That's terrible.
that you're going again.
What are you doing?
What is wrong with you? Trying to keep his mum's
All right.
honour.
Next
It's really
week.
bad.
Next week.
What do you mean it's not bad?
No, it's really bad.
This is the way you're still eating
I
it.
don't know. I don't like to waste food.
But come on.
It's so hang on. If someone served you a piece of on a plate, you go, oh, I don't want to waste that.
No, but that's not food.
Well, what if it's in a restaurant and the chef gave you?
Right,
That's salty.
out of 10, what's the verdict?
So salty, yeah, you're still eating it.
10 being uneatable.
Oh, 10 is the unedible end.
Yeah. 1 being, yeah, it's all right. I'll eat that.
No, I reckon
15.
like 5 is like, that's like 5's like, okay,
5 is
1 is
like-
like, oh, I've actually discovered my new favourite food. There's a reason people do this.
Yeah.
So
And 5 is tolerable.
5 is like, I can tolerate that. 1 is like, I'm in love. 10 is like,
I can still
I want to
taste
throw up.
Okay.
I didn't want to throw up.
No, I'd put it at
8 or 7.
8.5.
I can still taste it.
I could,
Um,
if I absolutely had to, I'd eat it.
Yeah.
It was almost.
You mean if you
I
absolutely
think
have
if you
to?
had a drink with you. it
No,
would be
but
almost
honestly,
probably.
you could just have the Raisin Toast. Off the Vegemite.
Well, we're not able to alter it afterwards. Like, if we were only handed that, I could still eat that and get through it if I was
with
absolutely...
a
No,
glass
but
of
then-
milk or something, that'd be
No,
okay.
but then that's when you ask for a knife and you just start scraping the Vegemite off.
Yeah.
I reckon it's, I'd put it like a 7.5, 8. Like, I could
Yeah.
get through it. It's just very salty. With a
Very
glass of milk
dry.
or a glass of water, then I'll be better off. But
Not water's even worse, I think.
What
you
is
need,
some-
you need milk.
Water
juice
does
or-
nothing.
Yeah.
It'll just make it worse.
it's vodka.
Vodka, yeah.
Just like straight
Next
terps.
week.
Yeah.
Straight terps. We're just going.
A white Russian,
Yeah.
Kahlua and milk.
Exactly.
I think that's not good, but
It's-
it was a good start. We'd like to, but
We're going
here's
to
the thing,
punish ourselves
I
every
didn't want to
week.
throw up at any point during.
No,
that.
that's not like something I felt like I had to spit out.
I want to see us spitting out the food next week. Like I want you to now. Here's the one thing. Is the one catch? Okay, we're gonna put out a thing on the socials this week. Haven't done the shameless plug of the socials yet, so. If you're not already, follow us along on the social media. On the social media, good grief, I sound like a grandma. we're on the Google,
on the Facebook.
on the Facebook, the Twitter.
on the MySpace.
But follow us along on socials: TikTok, Instagram, at the Carb Loaders Oz. That's AUS, not OZ, because we're not that cool. And follow us along on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this right now.
Yes.
But we will be putting things up on our Instagram and TikTok stories this week, asking for a request of a food. I want you to send us something that makes us literally gag at the idea that we're going to eat
But-
it.
At the same time,
You know-
it has to be a
But
legitimate.
if we are doubting it,
yeah.
we're going to ask for you to send a video of you eating
Yeah,
it
we need
first.
proof.
We need proof that you actually enjoy this, and if you do, then we'll
we'll-
eat it on there.
Don't tell me to eat a stick with smothered on it. Okay.
Unless we see you do
Oh,
it
there
first.
goes my suggestion.
No!
What?
Well, if they're willing to do it first, then I'm willing to do it on the podcast.
I don't know how much I agree with that, but
You know what's
Yeah, they
you know
might
who's
be absolutely
interesting?
messed up in
A lot pregnant women. They always whenever they're
got
sort
cravings.
Yes.
they seem to have weird cravings.
So if you're pregnant, message us.
Yes.
Or if currently like that raisin toast with Marmite looks good, maybe go do a pregnancy test.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? If you're listening at home, go try this.
Do it. Give
And
it a
let
go.
us know what you think.
Give us a go and tell us how much you hate it too.
Next week, what's on the agenda?
Next week, gonna have a few things next week, most likely. We'll wait and see what happens in the footy this week, I guess.
Yep.
Collingwood Carlton is
Collingwood
on
Carlton
tomorrow
will be-
night.
Yes.
So that's gonna be a big game. We'll see what happens there. I'll probably be discussing that a bit. More
Yes.
NBA to come
Yes.
at some point, unfortunately.
I think that's what we've come
And
for tonight.
Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely.
How keen would you?
What a
guys-
great way to end the podcast, by the way.
Just by hating ourselves.
How keen would you guys be on trying orange juice with Milo?
Well, give it a go. I don't know if I'd like it.
If we don't have any suggestions, which is unlikely, we will try
That
that, one next
sounds
week.
awful.
Stay
Jeez,
tuned.
see, so being so realistic. with
Stay
this,
tuned
aren't
for
we?
next.
You know, I used to work
Tuesday.
in an
Yeah,
after school care.
Yeah.
Friday afternoon, like 5 o'clock, that was Milo time. Whereas like any kids were still there, you
Milo
go
time.
line up and everyone gets like a glass of Milo with like milk sort of thing. And it was like just the biggest delicacy.
Yeah.
Like I'd pour one for all the kids and I got to have one myself. Like I would just like the tiniest bit of milk,
No.
like 14
make it
tablespoons of
slowly.
Milo.
That's the way to do it.
Literally,
Yeah.
it was
You might as well
fantastic.
get a tin and just pour a dash. of
Literally,
milk.
that was what I
Yeah.
wanted to do sometimes. And like I remember, like I would get like the biggest glass I could find in there.
Here's
Just
a
go
question.
Absolutely ham on it.
Here's a quick Milo or the Cadbury drinking chocolate.
Well, if I'm making a hot chocolate, the Cadbury drinking chocolate. But if I'm making a Milo,
No, but
Milo.
have you ever had like cold milk in the drinking chocolate?
Did you ever
No.
try the Ovaltine?
No, not
Ovaltine.
Ovaltine. I don't like Ovaltine.
I honestly, I don't.
I just
don't
Milo
like it.
holds a special place.
Oh
in my
yeah,
heart.
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Not like-
the Milo ice creams. Remember the scoop
I've got a voice memo going.
at
on.
the
Yeah, and the cup things.
yeah,
Yeah, they're awesome.
Oh, they're amazing.
they were brilliant.
At the footy.
Yes.
Oh no, that's
I-
like
I
a cricket.
had the big
summer,
bash.
yeah, big bash. You're getting my. Oh, that's
Bit
That's
cold
just
for
sounds-
winter.
maybe next week we'll test
Oh,
the
who
Milo
cares?
cups.
Yeah.
With orange juice in it.
Oh,
Oh,
freeze them. Orange juice and Milo.
no, that's worse. Why are we punishing ourselves?
I'm an agent of chaos. Well, thank you for joining us for this week's
Yes.
episode of the Carb Loaders.
Yes,
As I
thank
did
you.
say before, follow along on all the social medias and all the internet. We have TikTok, Instagram, posting stuff over there all the time. If you like seeing people make fun of umpires for doing their very best, but not treating them like humans,
Let's be honest, not
watch
doing
us.
the
See
Let's be
what-
honest, they're not doing a very best.
They're doing their. Maybe they are. Maybe they're sitting at home.
You
crying.
can't sit there, watch TV or watch the game every weekend, and every time something happens, it's always to do with the umpire.
That's true. If you enjoy seeing that sort of content, follow us along on TikTok and Instagram. That's where you see us rant about the umpires. Follow us on YouTube at the Carb Loaders. Spotify, you can find us at the Carb Loaders. Apple Podcasts, if you are watching this on YouTube at the moment. You know, if you're listening in through the walls, then
I swear the umpires. They
Instagram, social media.
Oh, yeah. I swear the umpires. This is my last point about the umpires. Right? Oh, I said that wrong. The umpires.
There we are.
They would look in the mirror. Oh my God, Jay! You're so wrong.
I'm removing this.
I'm so concerned.
Anyway,
It's not that bad.
I swear the umpires, right, before
move
every
out.
game, they look themselves in the mirror and go and make this about yourself.
This game's about you.
The other players there, this is about you.
It's really bad.
Why are you still eating it?
I'm
I don't
removing
know.
this from your reach.
Oh, you're
All right. See you guys
Catch
next
us
week.
later.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
Nah, bye-bye.
No, I think we're done.
All right.
No, I got the sniffles because of all the coughing from the Vegemite.
Say it.
Bye.
No, there.
Who ordered the Palmer?